Okay, so you can see the top of the crank in the Kenmore that's locked up. That crank is the bell crank that goes from the top of the machine to the bottom of the machine. And when I have a stuck machine, it's easy to pop the cap off of that crank piece, and that will help you separate the top half and the bottom half of the machine, and then you will know whether it's locked up in the top or locked up in the bottom. All right, just showed I removed this saddle and these two screws from the bell crank that goes from the top to the bottom of the machine. You notice when I wiggle, the take-up arm wiggles, but the needle bar is stuck tight. So I think the needle bar is the part of this machine that's jammed, and we're gonna have to access that and remove and see what's going on with that. So there's the lamp and all these flathead screws. Always find the one that fits into the slot the very tightest, so that when you are removing things you don't strip out the heads. And I'm out in the garage and it is early in the morning, so the lighting is not great coming in through the door, but the rechargeable puck lights that I have to work with on my camera are currently being charged. So I do not have any auxiliary lighting in the garage right this instant. So take our light out of the way, and then okay, so the needle bar pivots, the needle bar is in this bracket and it pivots on the presser foot, so we'll need to pull the presser foot bar out to get this pivot bracket to slide away, and that will give us access to the needle bar. Now, typically this part on top unscrews in some fashion, but I don't see that that is true here. Also, I need a narrower bit screwdriver to get these two tiny set screws. There we go. One tiny set screw, and this bottom one is troublesome. Do I have a bit slightly bigger than that? That one is too wide. Let's see if this bit fits ever so slightly better. There we go. The tiniest bit of a better fit was enough to let me get this set screw to come out. Alright. There's pinholes here, and I don't know. I'll have to peer in there and see if there is a pin in that hole. Well, peering in those holes, peering in these holes, the set screws were all that was in there. And how can I see about getting this to come out? Again, usually this piece unscrews in some fashion, but doesn't feel like it does that. Let me... Yeah, I don't know what is going on with that. There's a clip here. Reach under with our screwdriver bit and not intentionally throw the screwdriver bit further into the machine, but I'll have to figure out how to remove that in a minute. Alright, well, I thought I'd pop this clip off, but we'll stop for a minute and I'm going to figure out, decide what to do about getting this assembly out. The set screws are out, but like I said, I need to... Oh, I see another set screw here. Maybe there's a second set screw in the lower bracket as well. But and this set screw lines up with that pinhole on the end, so there. Both set screws, and then that comes out. And that machined ridge is where those set screws go, so it'll be easy enough to put back in. All right. Pull our spring off, and then if there's a matching set screw down here, it's behind the needle bar, so that's going to be not easy to get at. So we'll have to remove our presser foot, and to do that we'll have to loosen the set screws in this lift arm. Alright, so it does move. Just have to be alright, I'm gonna, let's see, I'm gonna get a block of wood to hold this bar up, and then I'll be able to push down on that bracket to slide that bracket down to lift this foot out through the top. So I will find a bracket of wood, a block of wood, and be back. Alright, see, I stacked a bunch of wood underneath the presser bar. I tapped this piece down, and now it's loose, and the presser bar just comes out. And with that presser bar out, thought I'd be able to get this whole bracket out. I need to get this clip off. Let me see what I can do. There we go. One clip removed. There's not a screw in the top there. Is there a set screw in the front? Since I'm behind the there is a set screw on the front there. So if we take the set screw out, that should hold that. There we go. Set screw out, and then this pin ooh. So this bar is coming down, and that means I need to tap it up. Alright. That is stuck on the pin that it's on. So that pivot is stuck in there. What do I got for next options then? I will need to... If I put a bigger block here, then I can drive that pin from the top all the way out. If I can find a block that is the right size for under that arm. Because if we just drive the whole pin down, if we drive this down far enough to come out of this bracket, then this here is going to be bent down too, and we don't want that. So I think if I get this free, then this bracket can rotate to the side, and then it'll be disconnected from the cam drive. And so, oh, I could attempt to heat that up. See if that loosens it. Alright, I'm going to find a block and or some heat and see if I can get this pin out. And then we'll be back. Okay. The pin has been popped out of here successfully. Just the tiniest bit of heat from this little torch and a little bit of tapping and wiggling it, and it popped right out the bottom. We'll see that when we get it reassembled. Now, thanks to getting this loose, we've got more movement, but this needle bar is still very stuck. So what I'm going to try to do, you know, I'm just going to take the crank arm out and that should pop off. Alright. So, right here, this screw is the crank arm screw, and when you have a forward rotating machine, it's always a backwards thread, so you have to turn it clockwise to get it out. And always remember that, because if you turn it the wrong way, you'll strip it out. They put shallow grooves in them so that it's harder to get on them, but right now this, oh, okay, that won't help me here. So this crank has a slider that it's connected to so that it won't wobble back and forth. So taking that tiny screw out will not loosen it against the needle bar because the bottom end of that is on a slider. Alright. So this can't slide sideways, which is a nice design feature in some respects, but then makes this more challenging. Okay. There. Wiggle that piece and get it out. So that at least is out of our way. And now, figuring out, I want to turn this sideways so this block pops out of the crank on the side, and I think that'll make it easier for me to well, haven't had any other luck. Let's try. Okay, that is wiggling in there. This needle bar is just frozen up. Yeah. Right, and there is a No. With the top loose, because this top is completely loose, there's not going to be a way for me to get that to sideways out. And of course the screw for the clamp on the needle bar is behind this here, so I can't access it, I don't think. Maybe it's on the back side. I don't see where that screw is. Let's see if... Can I pry this gently? Yes, I can pry that gently to the side. I'm trying to get it to pry to the side to get out of the crank on the back side here, because once it's out of the crank, okay, it should turn a little more now. Actually, I need this pivot on top to help me with that turning operation. So if we get this to... Alright, I may just try heating this in place. Heating there and heating there. Just see if that'll free that up. Still going to take it out and figure out why it bound up in the first place, but I'm going to apply heat. There it is. A little bit of heat. Okay. I am still going to pull this needle bar out and take a look at it and clean it up real good. But we've got that. So I will bet if we stretch this down and have that Alright, I'm still going to take this out, see what we can do about it, but it is moving. Alright, you can see the needle bars out. This is the secret. There's this bushing and collar down below, and that was holding the bottom in. When I realized that I could see this through the bottom there, I got a long punch and popped it down. There's only the one set screw holds it up, and then this whole needle bar came out the side. And now we can access the needle bar and clean it very thoroughly since it was stuck. And the set screw for this needle bar adjustment, the set screw is inside the crank, so it is completely inaccessible when the machine is assembled. So I am going to inspect very carefully for timing marks on this bar to check if the timing is out from being cranked on while it was stuck. Alright, the set screw on the needle bar crank, or on the crank for the needle bar, goes on a flat. So there's a flat there. I am going to clean this up and look for timing marks, otherwise I will match it to the place it was clamped on the flat and give it a try when I reassemble this. But I'm taking this all apart, and I got the needle bar out so that I can scrub the inside of the bushing spots where the needle bar slides to make sure that it's completely free of gunk and goo.